My name is Alexa, and for a long time, I believed that failure meant the end of my dreams. Every mistake felt like proof that I was not good enough. I watched other people succeed while I struggled to keep moving. I smiled on the outside, but inside, I questioned my abilities every single day. It all started when I worked hard toward a goal that meant everything to me. I spent countless hours learning, practicing, and giving my best. I imagined the day I would finally succeed. But when the results came, they were nothing like I expected. Instead of celebration, I was met with disappointment. My plans fell apart, and I felt completely lost. For days, I avoided talking about it. I stayed in my room, wondering why things had gone so wrong. I blamed myself for every mistake and thought maybe I was never meant to achieve anything meaningful. Every failure felt heavier than the last, and I almost gave up. One quiet evening, I found an old notebook where I had written my dreams years before. As I turned the pages, I noticed something surprising. Every dream I had achieved in the past had also started with failure. I had simply forgotten those difficult moments because success had replaced the pain. That realization changed something inside me. Maybe failure was not my enemy. Maybe it was trying to teach me lessons that success never could. Instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" I began asking, "What can I learn from this?" I didn't have all the answers yet, but I made one promise to myself. I would keep going, one small step at a time. I decided that this failure would not define my future. Instead, it would become the first chapter of a story that would make me stronger than I had ever imagined. The next morning, I woke up feeling different. My problems had not disappeared, and my failure still hurt. But instead of hiding from it, I decided to face it. I looked at myself in the mirror and whispered, "Today, I will try again." It was not easy. Every time I remembered my failure, my confidence disappeared. I kept thinking about what people might say if they knew I had failed. I was afraid they would laugh at me or think I was not capable. Those thoughts stayed in my mind like dark clouds. Later that day, I visited a quiet park near my house. I sat on a bench and watched children learning to ride their bicycles. One little girl caught my attention. She fell to the ground again and again. Each time, she cried for a moment, stood up, and tried once more. Her father never shouted at her. He simply smiled and said, "Falling is part of learning. Just keep going." Those simple words stayed with me. I realized that children are not afraid to fail because they believe they will eventually learn. Somewhere along the way, many adults forget that lesson. We begin to think that failure is something to hide instead of something to grow from. When I returned home, I took out a notebook and wrote down every mistake I had made. But this time, I didn't write them with regret. Beside each mistake, I wrote one lesson I had learned. By the end of the page, something amazing happened. My failures no longer looked like proof that I was weak. They looked like stepping stones leading me toward a better version of myself. That night, I smiled for the first time in weeks. I still had a long journey ahead, but I finally understood one important truth. Every successful person has a story filled with failures. The difference is that they never stopped believing in tomorrow, and neither would I. The days that followed were not perfect, but they were different. Instead of focusing on what I had lost, I started paying attention to what I could improve. Every morning, I reminded myself that progress was more important than perfection. I created a simple routine. I spent time reading books, learning new skills, and practicing every day. Some days I felt motivated, while other days I wanted to quit. But even on the difficult days, I promised myself to take at least one small step forward. One afternoon, I received unexpected news. Someone I knew had achieved the same goal I had once dreamed about. For a moment, jealousy filled my heart. I wondered why success seemed so easy for everyone else, but so difficult for me. Then I remembered something I had written in my notebook. Your journey is different from everyone else's. Those words changed my thinking. I stopped comparing my life to others and started comparing myself to the person I had been yesterday. Slowly, I noticed something surprising. I was becoming more patient, more confident, and much stronger than before. One evening, my friend asked me, "How do you stay positive after everything you've been through?" I smiled and replied, "Because failure taught me lessons that success never could." The truth was simple. Failure had taught me to be humble. It had taught me to work harder, to listen more, and to appreciate every small achievement. Most importantly, it had shown me that my value was not determined by one mistake or one disappointing moment. As the weeks passed, new opportunities began to appear. They were not the opportunities I had expected, but they were exactly what I needed. Looking back, I realized that if I had never failed, I might never have discovered my true strength. For the first time, I no longer feared failure. Instead, I welcomed every challenge, knowing that each obstacle was preparing me for something even greater that was still waiting ahead. Months passed, and my life slowly began to change. The pain of my past failures had not completely disappeared, but it no longer controlled me. Instead of seeing closed doors, I started noticing new ones opening in places I had never expected. One day, I was given an opportunity to try again. It was similar to the dream I had once lost, but this time I was different. I was no longer chasing success just to prove my worth. I wanted to do my best because I had learned to enjoy the journey. When the challenge began, I still felt nervous. My hands shook and my heart raced. The memories of my previous failure came back for a moment, but instead of letting fear stop me, I took a deep breath and reminded myself, I have grown. I am stronger than I was before. I gave everything I had. Not because I was certain I would succeed, but because I knew I would learn something valuable no matter the outcome. As the days went by, I noticed something amazing. I solved problems more calmly, accepted mistakes more easily, and asked for help without feeling embarrassed. These were things I had never done before. Failure had quietly shaped me into someone who was wiser and more resilient. Then came the day I had been waiting for. This time, I succeeded. The joy I felt was incredible, but it wasn't the success that made me proud. It was the person I had become along the way. I realized that if success had come easily the first time, I would never have developed the courage, patience, and determination that now lived inside me. Standing there with a grateful heart, I smiled and whispered, "Thank you, failure." Those words surprised even me. At that moment, I understood that failure had never been trying to destroy my dreams. It had been preparing me to achieve them in a way that would make me appreciate every single step of the journey. Today, when people look at me, they often see someone who is confident, positive, and successful. They congratulate me on how far I have come. Some even ask, "What's the secret behind your success?" I always smile because they only see the destination. They don't see the long road filled with tears, disappointments, sleepless nights, and moments when I almost gave up. The truth is, my greatest teacher was never a book, a classroom, or a famous mentor. My greatest teacher was failure. Every setback taught me to become stronger. Every mistake helped me become wiser. Every disappointment reminded me that success is not about never falling, it's about having the courage to stand up one more time. Looking back, I no longer wish I could erase my failures. Without them, I would never have learned patience, resilience, humility, or gratitude. Those difficult moments shaped my character far more than my victories ever could. Now, whenever I face a new challenge, I don't ask, "What if I fail?" Instead, I ask, "What will this experience teach me?" That simple change in mindset has transformed the way I live my life. If you are listening to my story and you feel discouraged because of your own failures, I want you to remember this. Your story is not over. One bad day does not define your future. One mistake does not determine your worth. Every successful person has faced failure, rejection, and disappointment. The difference is that they chose to keep moving forward. Believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Take one small step today. Learn from your mistakes. Keep growing, keep trying, and never stop believing that better days are ahead. One day, you will look back at everything you have overcome and realize that failure was never the end of your journey. It was the beginning of the person you were always meant to become.